In 1993, a German robotics engineer made a discovery inside the Great Pyramid that would change everything. The Pyramid of Khufu consists of 3 chambers: the so-called underground chamber, the Queen's chamber, and the King's chamber. What he found hidden behind a narrow shaft terrified Egyptian authorities so deeply that they immediately banned him from ever returning. But he wasn't the first, and certainly not the last. From researchers who vanished after uncovering forbidden chambers to archaeologists silenced for revealing what they were never meant to see, Egypt's ancient monuments guard secrets some believe should never be exposed. Many of these mysteries are rooted in ancient numbers and technologies that some claim were far more advanced than we are taught. Today, we're counting down the most terrifying discoveries that got explorers banned, silenced, or worse. These are not just mysterious artifacts. They are findings so disturbing that experts refuse to discuss them publicly. Let's dive in. 20. The banned engineer's discovery. Rudolf Gantenbrink never expected his robot crawler to end his career. In March 1993, the German robotics engineer sent a custom-built robot up a narrow shaft in the Queen's chamber of the Great Pyramid. What the camera revealed stopped everyone cold: a limestone door fitted with copper handles, sealed for more than 4,000 years. The discovery should have been celebrated, but instead, Egyptian authorities immediately revoked Gantenbrink's permits and barred him from further exploration. Officially, he was punished for announcing his findings to the press before consulting authorities. Unofficially, whispers suggest something far darker. Some researchers claim the door contradicted official narratives about the pyramid's purpose, while others believe authorities feared what lay beyond it. To this day, that sealed door remains one of archaeology's most protected secrets. Gantenbrink's ban sent a chilling message to others. Some discoveries are simply too dangerous to share. 19. The Dendrolite. Inside the temple of the third Dendera, carved deep within the crypts, exists imagery that makes electrical engineers do double takes. The reliefs depict large bulb-shaped objects connected to braided cables and mounted on lotus flower bases resembling electrical insulators. Inside each bulb, a serpent-like filament stretches from one end, while figures nearby appear to hold power sources. Norwegian electrical engineer Einar Vigeland was the first to formally suggest these carvings were not symbolic, but functional designs. Their resemblance to Crookes tubes, devices not invented until nearly 3,000 years later, is uncanny. What truly unsettles mainstream archaeology is that the surrounding inscriptions reference the light of the Creator God. If the ancient Egyptians possessed electrical lighting, it would shatter our understanding of technological progression. How was power generated, and what other ancient technologies have been dismissed or misattributed? Researchers who pursue this theory face ridicule, academic exile, and accusations of fringe science, leading some to wonder if the truth is simply too unsettling to accept. 18. The Osiris Shaft. Beneath the Giza Plateau lies something that should not exist according to conventional timelines. Discovered in 1999 yet rarely discussed in mainstream archaeology, the Osiris Shaft descends over 100 feet through solid bedrock into a massive subterranean complex. 3 levels of chambers lie flooded with groundwater, and at the bottom sits a colossal granite sarcophagus resting on an island surrounded by water. The architectural sophistication rivals anything built above ground and, according to some geological assessments, may predate the pyramids themselves. Precision cuts through solid limestone would challenge even modern equipment, yet ancient Egyptians were supposedly limited to copper tools and stone hammers. Researchers attempting further investigation have faced resistance, and those who descended into the flooded chambers describe an overwhelming sense of dread. Several exploration teams abandoned the site without explanation, leaving the shaft largely unexplored and its secrets submerged. 17. Gods on Earth. Walk through the Osiris Hall and you'll encounter carvings that make your skin crawl, beings with elongated, oval-shaped skulls unlike any normal human proportions. Egyptian texts insist these gods once walked among humanity, ruling as divine kings. Then came Pharaoh Akhenaten in 1352 BC, and mythology seemed to collide with reality. Every statue and relief of Akhenaten depicts the same grotesquely elongated skull, stretching backward unnaturally. Some scholars suggest deliberate skull binding to mimic the gods, but fossilized remains attributed to Akhenaten show genuine bone structure, not artificial deformation. A massive bulbous extension protrudes from the rear of the skull, possibly the result of genetic mutation. But if so, why was his reign erased from history? His name was chiseled off monuments, his city abandoned. What truth did his existence reveal that terrified historians into rewriting the past? 16. Khufu's Secret Room. Sometimes the most terrifying discoveries are the ones you cannot reach. In 2017, scientists using muon radiography revealed a massive void hidden inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu, over 100 feet long and deliberately constructed above the Grand Gallery. This was not a structural gap but a purposeful chamber, discovered using cosmic rays through the Scan Pyramids project. What's disturbing is not just a discovery, but the response. Authorities showed little interest in exploring it further. No drilling, no robots, only silence. Researchers involved have remained unusually quiet since the announcement. Some speculate the chamber contains something that contradicts established history, while others whisper about previous secret explorations that were quickly sealed and classified. It is the first major internal structure discovered inside an Egyptian pyramid since the 1800s. Yet instead of excitement, there is reluctance. The question remains, what is more important to hide than to reveal? 15. The Unfinished Obelisk. In an Aswan quarry lies 1,200 tons of impossibility. The unfinished obelisk stretches over 130 feet long, still attached to the bedrock from which it was carved. When it cracked, ancient workers abandoned it, leaving behind evidence that defies explanation. The trenches surrounding the obelisk display uniform depth, perfect angles, and cutting precision that challenges modern stone-cutting technology. Engineers attempting to replicate the work using copper tools and pounding stones have failed. The trench walls are smooth, lacking the percussion marks primitive tools would leave. Some geologists suggest the cutting patterns indicate technology beyond even today's capabilities. Those who voice such conclusions face swift criticism and professional isolation. The obelisk remains untouched, a silent testament to abilities that threaten conventional timelines. 14. The Serapeum of Saqqara. Hidden beneath the sands of Saqqara lies something that should be impossible. 24 massive granite boxes, each weighing over 100 tons and carved from single solid blocks. Officially, they are said to be sarcophagi for sacred bulls, but that explanation collapses under scrutiny. Each box measures roughly 12 feet long, 4 meters wide, and 3 meters tall, far larger than necessary, especially when pharaohs themselves were buried in far smaller coffins. What truly disturbs engineers is the precision. Surfaces flat to tolerances accepted by modern machining standards, corners meeting at near-perfect right angles. Such precision in granite, one of the hardest stones on earth, raises a haunting question. How were they made, and with what tools? The precision of the granite boxes is what truly disturbs engineers. Their corners meet at perfect right angles, and the interior walls run parallel within fractions of a millimeter. This level of accuracy would normally require diamond-tipped tools and laser measurement equipment, yet these structures were supposedly created using nothing more than copper saws and sand abrasives. Multiple engineering teams have attempted to explain how they were fabricated, and none have succeeded. The boxes remain in their underground chambers as silent testimony to capabilities that experts cannot replicate and therefore struggle to explain. What were they really for, and why were they hidden underground? Those questions remain unanswered. 13. The Book of Thoth. Some discoveries are not made of stone or gold but written in ink that survived millennia, preserving knowledge that perhaps should have remained lost. The Book of Thoth exists only in fragments scattered across museums and private collections, its complete text still unknown. According to legend, the god Thoth encoded dangerous magical knowledge within it, information so powerful that possession alone brought catastrophe. Ancient Egyptian tales warned that those who discovered copies were driven mad or met mysterious deaths. While modern scholars dismiss these accounts as superstition, something unsettling seems to follow those who study the surviving fragments. Several prominent Egyptologists experienced unexplained psychological breakdowns, and in 1932 one researcher vanished after claiming to have located a complete copy. His notes were confiscated and classified. Others report vivid nightmares and overwhelming dread when translating certain passages. Some fragments describe rituals and concepts that do not align with known Egyptian religious practices, with sections that eerily resemble ideas similar to quantum mechanics. Whether genuinely dangerous knowledge or the power of suggestion, experts approach the Book of Thoth with unusual caution. 12. The Abydos Helicopter. On the ceiling of a 3,000-year-old temple in Abydos are carvings that should not exist. Etched into stone are shapes resembling a helicopter, a submarine or spacecraft, and even something similar to a modern airplane. The official explanation claims these are the result of palimpsests, older inscriptions carved over by newer ones, accidentally forming familiar shapes. Yet engineers who have examined the carvings closely find this explanation unsatisfying. The helicopter appears to show rotor details, while the submarine-like form displays a defined cockpit and tail section. The proportions resemble functional vehicles, not random overlapping symbols. Some researchers suggest these carvings depict actual craft witnessed by the ancient Egyptians, possibly from a lost advanced civilization or, more controversially, extraterrestrial visitors. Others even propose time-traveling observers influencing ancient art. The palimpsest explanation struggles to account for multiple vehicle-like shapes clustered together. Archaeologists who challenge the official interpretation often find their careers derailed. The temple remains open to tourists, but guides strictly adhere to the sanctioned narrative, perhaps because the alternative is too destabilizing to acknowledge. 11. The Saqqara bird. In 1898, archaeologists excavating at Saqqara uncovered a small wooden object that was stored away for decades, labeled simply as a bird figurine. In 1969, someone finally examined it more closely, and the mystery emerged. At first glance, the Saqqara bird appears unremarkable, but close inspection reveals something startling. This was not a bird. The artifact features wings shaped with aerodynamic curves identical to modern aircraft design, a tail structure resembling that of a glider, and no legs at all, only a smooth fuselage. While the head is bird-like, everything else points to aviation. Aviation experts note that the wing shape produces lift far exceeding the object's weight. Engineers built scale models using exact measurements, and they flew with remarkable stability. The design demonstrates an understanding of aerodynamics that should not have existed in ancient Egypt. Some believe a horizontal stabilizer was once attached and later lost, while others suggest the Egyptians either witnessed flying machines or possessed knowledge of flight that vanished from history. Mainstream archaeology dismisses the artifact as coincidental, but that explanation convinces fewer people each year. The Saqqara bird remains on display, its true purpose still debated. 10. The Tomb of the Silver Pharaoh. In 1939, archaeologist Pierre Montet made a discovery that should have overshadowed the tomb of Tutankhamun, but World War II buried the news beneath global chaos. When Montet entered the tomb of Pharaoh Suzenzai, he found wealth that rivaled, and in some ways surpassed, King Tut's burial. The chamber overflowed with gold, jewels, and precious metals from a period supposedly marked by decline and civil war. Yet the most puzzling artifact was a sarcophagus made entirely of solid silver, not plated or gilded, but fully silver, weighing hundreds of pounds. It remains the only silver sarcophagus ever discovered in Egypt. The craftsmanship demonstrates techniques that challenge even modern silversmiths, with intricate detailing executed at an astonishing level of precision. A massive solid gold death mask covered the pharaoh's face, its artistry surpassing much contemporary work. Silver was rarer than gold in ancient Egypt, requiring immense wealth and trade networks. How did a relatively minor pharaoh from a fractured kingdom amass such resources, and why invest in a feat of metallurgy that pushed technological limits? The mystery remains unresolved. 9. The Sphinx's Hidden Chambers. Ground-penetrating radar does not lie, and what it revealed beneath the Great Sphinx could rewrite Egyptian history. Seismic surveys conducted between 1991 and 1996 detected rectangular chambers beneath and around the Sphinx, clearly artificial structures, not natural cavities. One lies between the Sphinx's paws, another beneath its body, and a third behind it. Despite these findings, the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities has consistently denied permission for excavation. If these chambers contain the records some researchers suspect, they could push Egypt's civilization back thousands of years earlier than officially recognized. Geologist Robert Schoch studied erosion patterns on the Sphinx enclosure and concluded the structure may be at least 7,000 years old, predating dynastic Egypt by millennia. His findings were fiercely attacked despite his geological expertise. Multiple teams have attempted non-invasive investigation and were denied without explanation. The chambers remain sealed, not by ancient stone, but by modern refusal. 8. The Drug Mummies. In 1992, German toxicologist Svetlana Balabanova made a discovery so shocking it effectively ended her research. While analyzing tissue samples from 3,000-year-old Egyptian mummies, she detected traces of cocaine and nicotine, substances derived exclusively from plants native to the Americas. These mummies predate Columbus by thousands of years. The implications were explosive, and the backlash immediate. Critics accuse her of contamination, laboratory error, or dietary anomalies, yet none of these explanations held up. The mummies were sealed, multiple independent labs confirmed the results, and no old-world plants produced these compounds. The alternative explanation terrifies historians. Ancient Egyptians may have had transoceanic contact with the Americas long before recorded history. Accepting this would collapse our understanding of ancient navigation, trade, and cultural exchange. The evidence persists, the tests remain positive, and the silence surrounding the findings grows louder. 7. The Tulli Papyrus. In 1933, Alberto Tulli, director of the Vatican section of the Egyptian Museum, allegedly discovered a mysterious papyrus in a Cairo antique shop. What it documented should have changed history, but the original papyrus conveniently vanished, leaving only Tulli's handwritten transcription. The text, believed to date from the reign of Thutmose III around 1480 BC, described circles of fire appearing in the sky. These fiery disks flew in formation, were silent, and emitted no odor. The phenomenon lasted for days and was witnessed by the pharaoh and his army. Eventually, the objects ascended into the heavens, with fish and other debris reportedly falling from the sky afterward. Skeptics immediately dismissed the account as a forgery, citing the missing original, while believers point to precise dating and consistency with known historical records. The descriptions mirror modern UFO sightings with unsettling accuracy, multiple craft, silent flight, formation movement, and physical evidence left behind. Whether ancient aliens, misunderstood natural phenomena, or an elaborate hoax, the Tulli Papyrus records something that should not exist in ancient Egyptian history. Researchers who take it seriously face ridicule, yet the transcription remains, documenting impossibility from over 3,000 years ago. 6. Meteorite jewelry. In 2013, researchers analyzing a 5,000-year-old Egyptian necklace made a discovery that rewrote assumptions about ancient metallurgy. The iron bead should not have existed. Egypt's Iron Age would not begin for another 2,000 years, and bronze was considered the most advanced metal Egyptians could work. Iron requires temperatures far beyond the capabilities of ancient furnaces, yet these beads were crafted from nearly pure iron containing traces of nickel. Spectrographic analysis revealed the source, meteorites. The beads were hammered from meteoric iron, metal that had already melted during atmospheric entry. In a culture that revered the heavens, possessing metal that literally fell from the sky would have been profoundly symbolic. What disturbs metallurgists is the craftsmanship itself. The shaping techniques show advanced cold forging knowledge that even modern blacksmiths struggle to replicate. How did ancient Egyptians master techniques for metal they could not produce themselves? The jewelry sits in museums today, silent proof that ancient metallurgical knowledge exceeded accepted timelines. 5. The Djed Pillar Mystery. Across ancient Egypt, one symbol appears with remarkable frequency, the Djed Pillar. Officially, Egyptology defines it as a symbol of stability and the backbone of Osiris. Engineers, however, see something very different, a possible electrical device. The pillar features a vertical shaft with multiple horizontal crossbars and is often depicted emitting rays or energy. In some reliefs, it appears connected to Ankh symbols that resemble power sources or batteries. Priests are shown performing rituals around Djed Pillar's position in precise chamber locations. The discovery of the Baghdad battery proves ancient cultures possess basic electrical knowledge. Could Egypt have developed similar technology? The Dendera relief suggests possible lighting devices, while the pyramids exhibit unusual electromagnetic properties. The Djed appears in both contexts. Some researchers believe these were not symbolic at all but functional components of an energy system now lost to time. What if religious iconography preserved technical diagrams through mythology? What if gods were simply technology so advanced it became divine in memory? The Djed pillars stand in temples across Egypt, waiting to be decoded. 4. Precision drill holes and cuts. Deep within Egypt's granite quarries and stone monuments are examples of precision that modern manufacturers struggle to explain. Drill holes carved into some of the hardest stone on Earth exhibit perfectly circular cross-sections, uniform depth, and spiral grooves suggesting drilling speeds comparable to modern diamond-tip tools. These holes were allegedly made over 4,500 years ago using copper drills and sand abrasives. Engineer Christopher Dunn analyzed cores extracted from these sites and found evidence of rotational speeds and downward pressure impossible to achieve by hand. Some cores even show signs resembling ultrasonic or advanced machining techniques, with unfinished cuts left in massive stone walls. The holes maintain consistent diameter across depths of several feet, a feat that continues to baffle modern machinists. Those who examine these artifacts consistently express disbelief that primitive tools could have produced them. 3. The Valley of the Golden Mummies. In 1996, archaeologists uncovered the largest cache of mummies ever found in Egypt, the Valley of the Golden Mummies near the Bahariya Oasis. More than 10,000 bodies were discovered, many adorned with gilded masks and ornate decorations. The mystery is not the number, but the quality. Dating to around 2,000 years ago during Greco-Roman rule, these mummies display preservation techniques superior to those of earlier dynasties. Wrapping methods, chemical treatments, and overall condition surpass what supposedly more advanced periods achieved. How did mummification improve during Egypt's decline? The sheer wealth required to gild so many bodies during an economically strained era raises further questions. The remote oasis location should not have supported a population large enough to justify so many burials. Ground-penetrating radar suggests the cemetery extends far beyond excavated areas, yet authorities halted further excavation in 2000 without explanation. 2. Sound frequency chambers. Step into certain chambers within ancient Egyptian temples, clear your throat, and you may hear something impossible: perfect acoustic resonance. Researchers measuring these spaces discovered they were engineered to resonate at frequencies between 95 and 130 Hz, levels known to affect human consciousness and physiology. These frequencies can induce altered states, influence heart rate, and even promote healing. Achieving such precision requires advanced knowledge of sound physics, architectural acoustics, and human biology, knowledge ancient Egyptians were not supposed to possess. Some chambers amplify chanting into overwhelming vibrations, while others absorb sound completely, creating absolute silence. Rooms within the Temple of Dendera continue to be studied by modern acoustic engineers for their impossible properties. These effects were not accidental. Someone deliberately designed these spaces for specific acoustic outcomes. Whether for healing, meditation, or altered consciousness, their true purpose remains unknown. 1. The statues of Sekhmet. Within the ruins of Amenhotep III's mortuary temple, archaeologists have uncovered an astonishing number of statues, nearly 730 and counting. Each is a near-identical 1.9-meter-tall representation of Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of war, destruction, and divine vengeance. Creating even one statue of this scale required immense resources. Creating hundreds suggests an obsessive, almost desperate undertaking. Sekhmet's mythology describes her slaughtering humanity, drinking their blood, and raining fiery arrows upon the wicked. What compelled Amenhotep III to commission this army of terrifying effigies? The most unsettling detail is the damage. Nearly every statue shows deliberate defacement, with faces and heads intentionally destroyed. This was not erosion or random vandalism. Someone systematically targeted Sekhmet's face. Was a later civilization attempting to destroy her power, or did Amenhotep's successors fear what he had created? The statues remain, their broken faces still watching, guarding secrets no one has yet dared to fully uncover.